The sound of Jessica's designer heels clicking against my worn kitchen linoleum always reminded me of approaching storms. Today was no different as my daughter-in-law strode into my modest suburban home like she owned it, though if she knew who actually owned the entire development, she might have walked differently. Mother Grace. She never called me just Grace, always emphasizing the mother with that subtle tone that suggested I barely deserved the title. We need to talk about my business opportunity. I continued washing my morning coffee mug, the chipped one I kept for 20 years, even after acquiring the resources to buy entire China factories. Would you like some tea, dear? I don't have time for your discount store tea. Jessica dropped her Hermes bag on my kitchen table. This is important, life-changing important. My son Thomas trailed behind her, looking uncomfortable in his expensive suit that screamed trying too hard. I'd raised him to earn his own way, keeping my true wealth hidden to protect him from exactly the kind of people his wife had turned out to be. Mom, he started, Jessica has this amazing business plan. It's not just a plan, she interrupted, pulling out a glossy presentation folder. It's a movement. Wellness by Jessica is going to revolutionize the influencer industry. I already have 10,000 followers. I dry my hands on my faded dish towel, noting how she winced at its apparent cheapness. That sounds interesting, dear. What does this have to do with me? Well, she flipped open her folder, revealing charts that would have made my actual business advisors cry. I need seed money. Just a small investment, really, $200,000. I heard Thomas's sharp intake of breath. He thought I had only modest retirement savings from my years as a small business consultant. That's a lot of money, Jessica, he said quietly. It's called believing in yourself, Thomas. She shot him an irritated look before turning back to me with her practiced smile. Mother Grace, this is your chance to be part of something spectacular. Think about it, your retirement savings just sitting there when it could be working for the family's future. I sat down at my kitchen table, the same one I kept through 3 decades of building my tech empire. Tell me about your business model. It's all about authenticity, she gushed, pointing to her projected follower growth. I'll be selling wellness packages, exclusive coaching sessions, my own line of supplements. And the $200,000 would be for initial inventory, website development, professional photo shoots, my personal brand consultant. She paused dramatically. I've already talked to some investors, but I wanted to give family the first opportunity. How generous. I glanced at the numbers on her charts, and these projections. Conservative, really. My brand consultant says I could hit 1 million followers by next year. Do you know how much influencers make per post? I did actually. My company owns several major social media platforms, though that wasn't public knowledge yet. The announcement would come next month, along with my first public appearance as CEO. Jessica, I said gently, I can't give you my retirement savings. Her face froze. Excuse me? It wouldn't be responsible financial planning. Responsible? Her voice rose. I'm offering you the opportunity of a lifetime. This is your chance to finally be part of something successful. Thomas stepped forward. Jess, maybe we should. No. She slammed her folder shut. Your mother has always been like this, small-minded, stuck in her little world of coupons and discount stores. She probably doesn't even understand what an influencer is. If she only knew how many times I've been on the cover of Business Insider under my corporate name, or that her favorite influencer platform was one of my recent acquisitions. I understand it's important to you, I said calmly, but I can't help. Can't or won't? She stood, gathering her things with sharp movements. You know what? Fine. Stay here in your little house with your little dreams. But don't come crying to me when you need help in your old age because your savings ran out. Jessica, Thomas finally found his voice. That's enough. No, it's not enough. She whirled on him. Your mother has always held us back. Living in this embarrassing house, shopping at discount stores, making me look bad in front of my followers. Well, I'm done. She stormed toward the door, then turned back with a vicious smile. By the way, I've been invited to the Fortune 500 Gala next month. You know, where actual successful people gather. Don't worry about trying to attend. I'm sure they don't let discount store shoppers in. After she slammed the door, Thomas stood there looking torn. Mom, I'm so sorry. She's just passionate about her dreams. It's all right, dear. I started making tea. Expensive Ceylon from my discount tin. Sit down. I think it's time we had a talk about what your mother actually does for a living. Mom, you see, tomorrow's Fortune 500 magazine is going to have an interesting cover story. And since Jessica's so interested in the gala next month, she might want to pay special attention to the keynote speaker. I pulled out my phone, showing him the advanced copy of tomorrow's magazine cover. His face went pale as he saw my professional headshot, the headline The Silent Queen of Tech, Grace Chen's $50 billion empire finally revealed. But, he collapsed into a chair. All this time, I confirmed, pouring tea into my chipped mug. Now shall we talk about what your wife might say when she realizes who's actually hosting that gala she's so excited about? The next morning, I sat in my real office on the 60th floor of Chen Technologies headquarters, watching multiple screens as the news broke. My PR team had orchestrated everything perfectly: simultaneous releases across all major networks, coordinated social media campaigns, and of course, that Fortune 500 cover story. Mrs. Chen, my executive assistant's voice came through the intercom. Your daughter-in-law is currently making quite a scene in the lobby. I switched one of my screens to the lobby security feed. There was Jessica, waving the magazine and demanding to see me, her perfect influencer makeup starting to crack under pressure. Let her wait 10 minutes, I instructed. Then James can bring her up. I used those 10 minutes to finish what I'd been doing, acquiring the company that produced Jessica's favorite luxury handbags. It seemed fitting somehow. When she finally burst into my office, she stopped dead in her tracks. The view alone was enough to silence her, 60 floors up, overlooking the city I'd helped build. My office was larger than her entire apartment, decorated with subtle power, original artwork, ancient artifacts, and yes, a few strategically placed magazine covers. Please sit down. I gestured to one of the handcrafted leather chairs. Would you like some tea? It's the same discount store brand from my kitchen. This isn't possible, she stammered, clutching her magazine. You're just what, dear? Small-minded? Stuck in my little world? I smiled. Please do go on. I'm particularly interested in hearing more about how I need to worry about my retirement savings. Thomas entered behind her, having arrived separately. He'd spent the night at my house, asking questions about everything I'd hidden over the years. He looked different now, more grounded, less concerned with appearances. Mom, he nodded, then turned to his wife. Jess, you should sit down for this. No, she found her voice. This is some kind of trick. You live in that house. You shop at discount stores. You use a chipped mug. Yes, I agreed, I do all those things. I also own the company that makes those mugs, the store chain you call Discount, and the development where my little house sits. Would you like to see the paperwork? She sank into the chair, her legs giving out. But why? Because true wealth isn't about showing off. Thomas answered before I could, making me proud. It's about value, isn't it, Mom? I nodded, pressing a button that turned one wall into a screen showing my company's global operations. Value, responsibility, and understanding that money is a tool, not a personality trait. The gala next month, Jessica's voice was small now. Will be held here, yes. As I'm the host, I do hope you'll still attend. Your invitation might need updating though. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Chen sounds better than your influencer handle, don't you think? She stared at the magazine cover again. 50 billion. Give or take a few billion depending on the market. I sat back in my chair. Now, about that business plan of yours. Her head snapped up, hope flickering in her eyes. The projections were terrible. I continued. Your market analysis was superficial, your cost estimates naive, and your growth predictions fantasy. If you presented this to my actual investment team, they would have laughed you out of the building. But, she clutched her folder protectively. However, I pulled out a new document. If you're serious about building a business, I have a proposition for you. Mom, Thomas looked curious. A 3-year development program, I explained. Starting in our marketing department, then moving through various divisions to learn how real businesses operate. After that, if you still want to build your brand, you'll have both the knowledge and the network to do it properly. You want me to work? For you? Jessica looked horrified. I want you to earn something for yourself, I corrected. Starting salary is entry level, and yes, you'll need to work your way up just like everyone else. But my followers, will still be there in 3 years if they're truly valuable. I handed her the employment contract. Consider it carefully. This offer expires when you leave this office. She looked at Thomas, perhaps expecting him to defend her. But he was reading through the contract with genuine interest. Jess, he said softly, do you know what Mom did before starting her company? She worked in a tech support call center. She built all this from nothing. Actually, I smiled. I still work in tech support sometimes. It keeps me connected to what our customers really need. Jessica's perfectly manicured hands trembled as she held the contract. And if I say no, then you leave with exactly what you came in with, minus the gala invitation, of course. Security concerns, you understand. I could see the calculations running behind her eyes. The prestige of being connected to my newly revealed empire versus the humiliation of starting at the bottom. The house, she said suddenly. Will you at least move somewhere more appropriate? That house was the first property I bought with my own money, I replied. I think I'll keep it, though you might be interested to know I also own a small private island. Perhaps we could have family holidays there, after you complete your first year of training, of course. The next hour was filled with contract discussions, tears, mostly Jessica's, and finally signatures. As they prepared to leave, Jessica paused. The tea, she said. Is it really from the discount store? Of course. I held up my chipped mug. Some things aren't about the price tag, dear. Something you'll learn over the next 3 years. After they left, I turned back to my screens. The business world was still buzzing with the revelation of my identity, but that would settle down. What mattered was that my son had finally seen the truth, and my daughter-in-law was about to learn some valuable lessons. My phone buzzed with a message from Thomas. Jess is already reading business books. Think this might actually work. I replied with a photo of my chipped mug. Everything works if you value the right things. Looking out over the city, I smiled. Sometimes the best investment isn't in stocks or properties, but in teaching others the true value of what they have. Even if that lesson comes with a Fortune 500 cover story and a very surprised influencer. 6 months later, I watched through my office window as Jessica hurried across the parking lot in sensible shoes, her designer bags replaced by a practical laptop backpack. The transformation had been fascinating to witness. Mrs. Chen. She knocked on my door, exactly on time for our monthly review. I have the market analysis you requested. Gone was the entitled influencer who had demanded my retirement savings. In her place stood a woman who had surprisingly thrown herself into learning with unexpected vigor. Come in, I gestured to the chair. How's the customer service rotation going? She smoothed her modest business suit, bought from the discount store chain I owned. I noted with amusement. It's enlightening. I had no idea how much work goes into handling customer complaints. And your followers? I couldn't resist asking. Down to 8,000, she admitted, then straightened. But my last post about authentic business learning got more meaningful engagement than any of my old wellness content. I picked up her report, noting the detailed analysis and practical recommendations. Thomas mentioned you've been taking night classes in business administration. Yes, she actually blushed. I realized I didn't know as much as I thought I did. About anything, really. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. She'd come demanding $200,000 for a superficial influencer empire, and now she was excited about completing her first professional certification. Your team leader says you're showing promise in market research. It's fascinating, actually. Her eyes lit up with genuine enthusiasm. Understanding real consumer behavior, not just social media trends. I've been developing a theory about micro-market influences in. She stopped, embarrassed by her own excitement. Go on, I encouraged, hiding my smile behind my chipped mug. As she explained her ideas, I thought about the letter in my desk drawer, the one promoting her to the junior analyst team, 2 months ahead of schedule. She earned it, surprisingly enough. Oh, she paused, reaching into her bag. I got you something. She pulled out a mug, identical to my chipped one. I finally figured out why you keep this specific mug. It's from the first store chain you invested in, isn't it? Before you made it big. I turned the mug over, seeing the familiar logo. Very good detective work. I learned from the best. She hesitated. I'm sorry about before. All of it. I was so focused on looking successful that I never thought about being successful. And now I understand why you live in that house and shop at those stores. It's about remembering where you came from, isn't it? About keeping your values even when your value changes. I set down both mugs, the chipped one and its twin. You're learning the right lessons, Jessica. Though I notice you haven't mentioned wellness coaching recently. Actually, she pulled out another report. I've been developing a business plan for a corporate wellness program. Real wellness, based on research and results, not just Instagram filters. Would you look at it? When you have time. I took the report, remembering her first ridiculous proposal. This one, I noted, had proper financial projections, market research, and a solid implementation strategy. 3 years, I reminded her. That was the deal. I know, she stood straighter. And I plan to earn every minute of it. But when I'm ready, I want to do it right this time. As she left my office, Thomas came in. Was that Jess with a new business plan? Your wife might surprise us all yet. I handed him the report. She's learning. We all are. He picked up the new mug. Though I notice you're still using the chipped one. Some things, I smiled, are worth keeping exactly as they are. Later that evening, as I locked up my office, I saw Jessica still at her desk, studying customer feedback reports. She had replaced her designer coffee with tea from my discount brand, served in a mug identical to mine. Sometimes the best investments aren't the ones we make in business, but in people. And sometimes the biggest returns come from the most unexpected sources, even from a former influencer who learned to value substance over style, one chipped mug at a time. Because true success isn't about the money you have or the things you own. It's about maintaining your values while building your value, a lesson Jessica was finally beginning to understand. And that was worth more than any amount she could have demanded from my retirement savings.